It's been a very long time since I've made one of these videos, and I'm not expecting anyone to watch it, like, I don't exactly, I'm not professional, I just kind of put these out there, like, so, in like 10 years, 5 years from now, I'll look back and I'll find these videos and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot, like, I used to make these, and the last time I used to make them, I'm gonna be doing my makeup, because, I'm just kind of talking to a camera, I'm not really doing this for, like, money or, whatever. But the last time I used to make these videos, I was about, oh yeah, and I'm not a professional makeup, so don't come at me for anything that I do on this. But when the last time I was making these videos, I was not in a very good headspace. It was just a really bad time in my life, and I was living with my grandparents, and God bless my grandparents. They are saints for everything that I put them through. They 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 helped me a lot. I mean, they're older, so of course they're gonna be rough around the edges, and they're not. It's not like it's not like they're gonna like, oh, like coddle me, because I was 14, And I remember being 8 years old and just praying for the day that I turned 18, And now I'm about 3 months from turning 18, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's nice to just look at some of those videos and be like, I used to go through things, to be like, look how much I've grown, as a person and emotionally, physically, and it's just, I just never thought that a lot of like I never thought that I would get to where I am today. And I just, sometimes it's nice to just see, like, hey, I went through all of this, but it's gotten to me where I am now. And, I may have, like, trust issues, I may cry sometimes, but that's a part of, like, life, if you go through life and you don't shed a single tear over anything, whether it's someone passing away, an animal passing away, whether it's you're just stressed, are you human? Like, are you human? Do you have a heart? Because I've never known anybody in my life to just not shed a single tear. I mean, I've cried plenty of tears in my life. I mean, I used to go into fits when I was 8 years old, and I would cry and I would throw tantrums, but I would cry so hard my nose would start bleeding, and I would just, like, it wouldn't stop until I finally calmed myself down, and my body was like, hey, we don't need the blood clots and all this blood coming through, we need this to survive. And it's just nice to see all those things happening. Alright, 1 second, I'm just gonna go put some concealer on and come back. Alright, but like being 14, and when you're 14 you just feel like, this is it. And when I was 14, I know, like, I remember having depression as a little kid, and I remember when I was 13 and, being 17 now with so many different attempts under my belt, and knowing that every time I survived, it just made me stronger, because that was God telling me, you got this. You have so much more life to live. You can't just give up now. And every time I'm upset, I take that and I turn it into art, whether it's me singing my heart out and just, being like, this is like not where I'm going to be 5 years, like 5 years down the road, 5 years down the road, like, I'll probably be graduated from college and have a really, really good job that I always dreamt of having. And I don't know, maybe, meet the love of my life, which I know sounds so cliche, but probably, have the love of my life, like, hand in hand, just a really good life, the life that I always dreamt of having. And thinking about that makes me feel a lot better, because it's like, hey, you're not in the same spot that you were 5 years ago. You're not in the same spot you were 2 years ago. You're not in the same spot you were 1 year ago. Why would you be in the same spot you are now 5 years down the road? And I've had so many friends, come and go. I've had friends who treated me awful, and I let them treat me awful because I figured, having friends is better than not having any. And now I have my best friend Megan, and I have Kiera, who I haven't seen since freshman year because she had to move to New York. And I have so many people, but like I have good people. I'm not letting people treat me as anything that I'm not. I'm not letting people treat me as less than. And I just feel like, I was just on a live with Ariel from my Con for Hire, and I just like, I commented a couple times because when I was 13, 12, 14, even 15, even 16, I have been listening to her music all of this time. Even today, I listen to her music. And all of those years, her music would save my life. Her music made me feel like I wasn't alone. Like what I was feeling wasn't the end. Like what I was feeling, I'm not the only person who felt it. And I feel like music is such a powerful thing, and that in the end, music would save us all. We'll be down in the dumps and we'll be crying, and that one song on our playlist is going to come on, and it's going to put us in snap us out of it. It's going to put us into a mindset where we're like, hey, they felt the same thing at one point. Why should we allow our feelings and things that are out of our control affect who we are now and who we're going to be in the future? And I had this amazing therapist. I can't name her because, confidentiality issues. Like, I can't name her. But she was an in-school-based therapist, and I had her from 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, and 11th grade. And now I can still email her, But she's not doing, like, actual therapy now. She's doing crisis interventions. But sometimes I can still email her and be like, this is what's going on in my life, Like, it was just this, yesterday I emailed her because I was so excited that I got an email a couple days ago, and I ignored it because I figured it was spam, because I always think, like, colleges messaging me, like, they're spam, I always think, like, they're not messaging me actually. And I read this email yesterday, and I got accepted into Eastern Michigan University, and I was really excited about it because I was like, because for years I didn't think I was going to get into college. People would tell me that I wasn't going to get into college, and I tried so hard last year. I went through a lot my sophomore year of high school, and I got put into a place over in Westchester, and the therapist there, I mean, she saved my life too. She made me see things in a totally different life, and I can't name her because, again, confidentiality, but she saved my life. And so many people, I mean, people in my family have saved me, like, and then in the end, people can keep saving you, or you can save yourself, and that's what I did. I saved myself. And I just woke up one day and I was like, this is not what we're gonna do. Like, I'm not going to allow myself to feel this way forever, because what I'm going through now is just temporary, but your life is forever. Your life isn't temporary. What you have in your life and how you feel is temporary, but you are forever. You will be alive for the next 30, 40, 50. Like, you'll be alive for a very long time until God's like, it's time to come home. And out of all of that, you should realize that you don't deserve to feel like this forever. And in the end, the people around you can't keep pulling you out. You have to pull yourself out in the end. If if I had $1 for every single person in my life who has saved me, pulled me out of an uncomfortable situation, or anything, anyone who has helped me, I would probably be, like, as rich as Donald Trump right now, I would literally be so famous. But you don't get $1 every time you're down, or every time you go through something. And in the end, you're the only one who can pull yourself out, And, when I was 12, I was in a rough spot, and I every once in a while, I would get out of, that rough spot, and I would just feel so unbelievably happy. But in the end, and then I would, in the end, I would just get back and just feel down again, and it just felt like it was a never-ending cycle, And my doctors kept telling me, you're bipolar, you're bipolar. And it was probably last May, I believe. Um, One of my doctors told me that I wasn't ever actually like completely diagnosed bipolar, that it was just, how I was acting and how I was reacting to my environment and everything that I was going through mentally. And turns out I wasn't bipolar, but I just had like severe depression that would make me go through really severe mood swings. And and I haven't been on a bipolar medication in so long, and I've been doing so well, and I'm going to college next fall, and I'm doing online schooling, which I have all A's and B's, and the only C's I have are in my math classes, which is normal because I've never been really good at math. I've never been that gifted kid in school, and I've only gotten 2 awards in my almost fully 12 years of schooling, and my awards were in the first grade when I got the student honors award because um because one of the disabled kids, he needed help going to the bathroom, and I was going to get into trouble because I'm a girl. I can't help and I can't go into the boys bathroom. I didn't go into the boys bathroom. I literally just helped him go in because he couldn't open the door. I literally just opened the door so I didn't get into trouble. And his student aide, she was female, and he just really had to go, but he couldn't go by himself. And so I just opened the door because the student aide, she was talking to someone else. And I mean, they were talking, but they were talking about something important. So I just opened the door, and I helped them. And so I got the student honors award. Or in the 8th grade when I got an award for being in student council, and I was in student council like a handful of times. I didn't go to the meetings all the time, but I still got that award, and that award made me feel, recognized, because 8th grade year was a very, very rough year for me. My papa Coy died. My papa, he was my best friend. I used to go to him for advice. We always used to watch Titanic together, and he would always give me like, he'd always like give me like tips, like he would talk about the movie, and he would explain like the guns in that movie, the guns in that movie weren't made actually during like the Titanic era. It was not made then. And he he was just such a good guy. And but he passed away when I was in the 8th grade, and I held so much regret because I didn't get to see him, and I held so much pain in my heart for that. And then I just went through a lot of rough stuff that year because, I mean, I was bullied in school all the way up until my sophomore year. And then last year, my junior year, I was just like, no, like, this is not what we're doing. Like, I'm not going to let you make me feel like something that I'm not. And I wasn't going to allow anyone to make me feel that way when in my heart I knew that that's not what I was. And in the end, I just made myself better. I wasn't going to let someone treat me as something that I wasn't, and I wasn't going to let anyone tell me that I was something that I wasn't. And it was a very rough year. I went into a psych hospital that was in Mason. It was my first hospital visit out of the 4 hospital visits I had. I went to the same hospital 3 times, and then I got put into a mental health rehabilitation center, and that was in my sophomore year. And then last November, I got put back into, October, I know that because I was still in there on Halloween. And last October, going into November, I was put back into that same hospital that I was put in my 8th grade year. And it helped me a lot, and then I haven't been back since. And this Halloween I have so many plans, because even though Corona is a thing, that does not stop you from getting dressed up as anything you want, and that does not stop you from going to places and whatever, even if you're going to a store and getting candy, and even if you have to do that, like, that is perfectly fine. And I just feel like I didn't get to do it last year, and it's my last Halloween in high school, So I feel like, why not dress up? And I have a job. I can pay for my own costume. And, I just feel like I want to have a fun time. I don't want to waste my senior year just focusing on school, because I'm doing really well in school already. And as long as I'm still doing well, it doesn't mean that I can't do other things. And I have a job, you know, I'm making money and I'm doing really well for myself, and I'm going to college next year. And if 13-year-old me could see me right now, she would probably pee her pants. I'm not even gonna lie about it. She'd probably be like, "You did what?" She'd probably be like, you know, all that other stuff, you know, like completely get it, but at the same time, like, you know, you're happy now, you know, like you're in a good spot now. Like, when did that happen? And, you know, I just felt like it'd be cool to have a video where I can look back on 15 years from now and be like, hey, I went through that. Hey, this got me where I am today. Alright, be right back. Alright, so I just feel like, you know, like, music will save people's lives, you know? And, I mean, I'm not a video editor, so it's not like, all I can do is, like, stop and then, you know, start again, if that makes sense. But, music, like, groups that I feel like would help a lot of people is they would be Tonight Alive, they would be Icon for Hire, um, Black Veiled Brides, Avenged Sevenfold. Like, there's so many. Those are just some of my favorites. There's so many. I mean, even some like sad rap songs, you know, like Black Bear, like, you know, Perfect, you know. And I was just on a live, um, and I commented on it, and Ariel from Icon for Hire, she noticed it and she said it, and she was like, you know, like, then you're like, you know, like, you're a badass, you know. And just like, I feel like it's things like that really, like, that struck me so deep, because like, someone I've been listening to their music and I've been watching their YouTube videos for so long, they noticed me. They even said she even said my name, and it struck me so deep, and I will always remember that, and I will never get over that like, I just loved it. I wanted to see her in concert so bad. I saw Tonight Alive in concert for my 15th birthday, and it was like, I had never been to a concert before, you know, they're super expensive, but I saw them, and I absolutely loved it. It was the best thing I had ever seen. And the sounds, like, you know, it was all so perfect. And I really hope that Icon Ferrari goes on tour again, because I would absolutely love to see them in tour. And this video is really long. It's almost 20 minutes long. I'm so sorry. But I will always remember those things. And like I said, this is just like a diary. I don't expect anyone to completely listen to this all the way through. But I want to look at this 5 years from now and listen to myself and be like, wow, like, look how much I grew from all this time, you know. All right, be right back. When I think about how far I've come from, you know, not just today, but from, you know, who I was when, you know, I was in the 7th grade, you know, I really do think that it's nice to just put your story out there, and, you know, one day you'll be watching this and you'll be like, hey, you know, I went through that. And, you know, one day I'll have kids, and one day, you know, I'll be watching this, I'll be like, you know, I wouldn't want my kids to feel the way that I did. You know, I'd want my kids, like, to always, like, come to me, you know, about these things. And if they were feeling low, and it was just, like, a really certain type of low where they really needed help, I would want them to be able to come to me and be like, Mom, I need help. You know, and, like, you know, that's how my mom was. Like, if I needed help, I'd be able to go to her. And so, I mean, it was just certain times, like, you were afraid of being a burden, and you were just afraid of going to someone and, you know, like, whatever, ruining their day, ruining the mood. You know, I have friends like that where they'll cry in front of me and they'll be like, I'm so sorry for ruining the mood. And it's like, you're not ruining the mood, you know, you're being human. We're all human. You don't need to, you know, be upset about crying in front of someone. Like, I've cried at work, you know, I've cried at work. And it's just one of those things, like, you know, if no one brings it up, like, it's okay, you know, you can pretend like no one noticed. But, you know, if someone cries at work, like, I'm always going to be like, you know, are you okay? But that's just because I have the biggest heart, and it always gets me in trouble. But it always gets to the point where, like, you just gotta realize, like, what you're feeling now is temporary. Like, you shouldn't give up. You should never give up, because you don't know what life's going to be like for you in like 6 months from now. You don't know what life's going to be like you 7 months from now. You just have no idea. And it's better to keep on going and to never forget where you were now from where you were 10 years ago, or forget where you were 15 years ago. And it's just never one of those things where you gotta just like think about it and be like, do I still want to be here 10 years from now, or do I want to be better and be a better version of myself? Because in the end, you're not going to remember everything that someone did to you that was you're not going to remember every bad thing in your life. Or you might remember it, but you might not be thinking about it 50 years from now. And when you die, you're not going to be thinking about all the bad things that happened to you. You're going to be thinking about all of the good things that happened to you and all of the things that you want to remember forever. And life's been really good to me lately, and I have a job and I love my job, which people think it's so weird to say that, but like, yeah, I love my job. I love the people there. The people there are so amazing and kind, and everyone there has been through something that, changed them. And it's just, everyone that I work with are really cool people. I mean, I'm sure not all of them likes me, but everyone there I like. I don't have much of a problem with anyone there. I love everyone there. They are absolutely awesome, and they're really nice, and it's nice to just talk through and, just joke around with, because they're just those types of people. It's really cool to just be talking to those kinds of people, and you're just joking around, you're like, it's fun to just joke around with people and be like, hey ho, like, I don't know, like, it's just fun. And I've never had a job that I really liked. I worked at a place when I was 14 turning 15, and it would get to the point where, like, of course I had my issues when I was 14. I would never eat a full meal. I would ration myself out. I would portion size myself. I would literally count every single calorie. And of course, now, now it's like, I don't look the same as I did then, but I'm eating full meals. I am happier. I don't feel down. I don't feel down when, if I eat something that I really had been wanting for a while. I don't feel down like I used to. I have money to pay for things for myself. I'm saving up a little bit of money with every paycheck I get. I'm doing really well for myself, and I feel like if 14-year-old me could see me right now, she'd be like, hey, things get better, things aren't always going to be like as bad as they are now. And I feel like that's nice to know that, I worked so hard to get myself to where I am today, and 14-year-old me would straight up just pee her pants if she saw where she'd be today. And yeah, so I mean, I've been through a lot, and I just, hope my story is able to help someone out there, because in the end, if my story is able to help anyone out there, then I know that, like, I've done something very, very progressive. And I'm always talking to my friends, because I have friends who will just get so down, or who will count every single calorie that goes into their body. And it's like, everyone's beautiful. It doesn't matter if you're a big girl, if you're a skinny girl. It does not matter, because in the end, we all bleed red. We all can do the same things that everyone else can do, and in the end, there's no, like, the whole movement, like the whole, like Black Lives Matter, I have no stand in that. I am just neutral. I believe that everyone is beautiful. It doesn't matter whether you're black, white, blue, red, yellow, purple. It doesn't matter to me, because as long as you're kind to other people, and as long as you're nice, and as long as you have an amazing personality that will light up a room, I don't have any problems with you. My only problem is with the evil people who treat people as less than based on something they can't control. Because it's not like you came to this world thinking you're black. That's things that other people will put into your head. I didn't come into this world, when I was born. It's not like I came into this world and I'm like, I'm really pale, like, no. It's based on how you grow up and what other people tell you. Yeah, you can look at other people and notice that you're different, but that doesn't mean you have any right to say anything about it, because in the end, we are all beautiful. It doesn't matter If you're thick, it doesn't matter if you are thin. It doesn't matter if you are black or white or anything. It does not matter. It matters your personality is what matters. That is all that matters in the end. It matters about the kindness you bring to the table, and it matters about the respect, love, and care that you bring to the table. It does not matter what you look like, because in the end, everyone who is around you are around you for your personality and not your looks, and that's how good people are. In the end, your personality is what matters, not how you look. And it makes me mad when, I can't talk about any kind of movement that happens because I'm always like a neutral party. I'm always like, it doesn't matter. Like, there are always going to be evil people in this world. You just got to make sure you're not surrounding yourself with evil people, because if you surround yourself with evil people, you will become evil yourself, because you always will become something that your friends are also doing. You will also do things and say things that your friends do because you're around that all the time. But if you surround yourself with people that aren't evil and they're kind, you're going to be those things too. I don't have a problem with anybody by the way they look. You are who you are. You are who you make yourself to be. Your parents always take part in you raising you, but in the end, you choose who you can be. You choose whether you decide to get that job. You choose whether you're going to be nice to that person on the road who is really sad and you just don't know he's sad. You are the one who chooses to help that kid get to the bathroom just because he needs help. You can choose to be that person who can choose kindness over evil any day. And the people who choose evil just because it's an easier road, I don't agree with those people, because being kind and being respectful and not being evil is a choice. And yeah, it's going to be a hard road to take, but would you rather take the hard road or the easy road? The easy road may seem enticing, but in the end, it's not going to get you to where you want to be in life. But if you take the hard road, that's going to get you to where you need to be in your life and where you want to be, and it's going to create the person that you want to be. And I stand by that forever. Alright, so I finished my makeup, so I'm gonna quote my mom here for a second, and just a second. Do you want to be a victim or a survivor in the end? When you die, how do you want people to remember you? When my papa died, he left an amazing legacy behind. He was a very kind man. He was a very religious man. He was an amazing person as far as I can remember, and I could never ask for anyone better. And I'm sure everyone's done bad things in their life. I'm sure that he had some rough times. I'm sure that he's done bad things, because we all have done something bad in our lives. But it's how you redeem yourself in the end. You can redeem yourself in the end. And when you die, how do you want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered as the person who blamed everything that happened every action they take on every single bad thing that's happened to them in their life? Or do you want to be that person who takes accountability for their actions? The person who agrees on something that they shouldn't have done. The person who firmly believes that you can redeem yourself in the end. Do you want to be that person when you die? Do you want to be that person who everyone remembers how kind-hearted you were, and how loving you were, and how caring you were, and how respectful you were, and all the times that you helped them go through things, even though despite you went through things yourself, and the person who was able to help themselves before everything ended? Or do you want to be remembered as the person who didn't help anyone, didn't care about anyone but themselves, just didn't care, and let life flow by, and then in the end did everything that they wish they hadn't, and did everything that they didn't want to do, and never redeemed themselves? What do you want to be remembered for when you're gone? How do you want to be remembered? What do you want people to think about when they look at you and they remember everything you did? What do you want them to remember? And I feel like thinking about that all this time is what made me grow into the person that I am today, and it's what's going to keep growing me in the end, and it's going to keep me growing emotionally in the end, because in the end you choose who you are, you choose what actions you take to get you where you are, and you're the only one who can change how you act and how you react to situations. You can't let your past define you, you let yourself define you in the present time. You let yourself define you now. You don't let yourself define you 20 years ago to now. Because who you were 20 years ago, who you were 5 years ago, who you were 2 years ago, who you were a year ago is not who you are now, and you shouldn't let your past define you, because in the end, you're the only one who can define you. You choose who you want to be. You choose what actions you take to what makes you who you are. And I'll live by that forever. But yeah. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I really don't think anyone's gonna watch this, but like I said, I did this for me. I'd, 5 years from now, I'll look at this and be like, hey, I was there, hey, I still think that way. Hey, I went through all that as a kid. And, do you want to be a victim or do you want to be a survivor? You choose. I choose to be a survivor. If you have been abused, neglected, harassed, bullied, lied to, cheated on, if you have had mental health issues, body image issues, self-image issues, you can always work on that. And you can always change that. Sure, it might take some kind of outside party sometimes to help you get there, but in the end, you're the only one who can take that work and put forth the effort to create who you want to be in the end. And I'll live by that till the day I die. But thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I hope you all have wonderful days, and I guess I'll try to post every once in a while. Bye.